Hey folks, I just got back from a beautiful wedding. It was a wedding uh, with, you know, hosted by my childhood relative, a relative from my childhood, whom I've known since childhood actually. She's actually I'm the same age as her, but she's actually my auntie because of a generational gap thing. So it's kind of a weird kind of dynamic, but we're the same age actually. So I'm not sure if anybody else has that same dynamic where they're the same age as their relative, but their relative is actually their aunt or uncle. But that's my relationship with her. She's my aunt, even though we're the same age. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. I actually, during the reception at the wedding, after the wedding, I met a older woman. Um, she must be the same age as the bride's mother, so she's a lot older than I. And I asked her by accident, and you'll know why I say by accident after I explain. I asked her, "So how are your children?" She says, uh, "I don't have any children, and I don't have a husband. No children, no husband." So I kind of sensed that it was a sad thing for her to say. So I replied, I tried to make her feel better by replying, "Well, no children, no husband, no worries." But in fact, everybody at the table we were sitting in kind of had a sense that she was it was like a not a comfortable thing for her to talk about. Um, that ties into my experience and my life. Um, I'm 31 years old, uh, still single, and just I really could sympathize with her and her what seemed to me her sadness, because I could really sympathize with it because I'm 31, I'm still single, uh, and to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed with how my life has turned out so far. Um, I've turned into some sort of a loner, really, if I'm honest with myself. Uh, I don't want to admit it, but sometimes it's really good to be honest with yourself, so you could kind of gauge where you are, so you could make improvements. So yeah, admittedly, I've turned into a loner of some sort, uh, and it's not really something I like, but believe it or not, back in college, in my 20s, early 20s. I'm 31 now, so I graduated college when I was 25. In my early 20s in college, I was quite a popular guy, actually. I can say actually without ego that I've been actually one of the most popular guys uh, that I've known in my circle in college. Um, but going to the current situation now, I've turned into a bit of a loner, um, and I'm not really happy with that. As a matter of fact, I can even chart a roadmap on how I got here. Uh, After I graduated is when it actually kind of went downhill because I graduated with a biology major, and though I'm really proud to have a biology degree, because honestly it is one of the hardest majors that I know of, but it doesn't really pay decently because it's considered a stepping stone degree to something further up, which I had no interest in. So, so after graduating with a biology degree, I found a job, like a blue collar job, really, which doesn't really pay as much and as decently as it should have. Because honestly, in my opinion, if you go through a degree which is very challenging, you should at least be compensated for the hard work. which wasn't the case with a very challenging biology degree. So that then and there, it was already like sort of a disadvantage for me to really tell you much more about myself, my history. I'm the eldest of three children, uh, three boys. So throughout my life, I've been held to such a high standard. I'm the eldest. You know, most of my relatives would look up to me, and most of my aunts and uncles would had high regards for me and had high hopes for me. Me being the eldest and all, and they would always call me a handsome child, a child with a lot of promise, and it just hasn't turned out that way yet. So uh, now with such a low-paying job, to be honest, I've been really disappointed on how my life has turned out so far. Um, and as my younger relatives would graduate with nursing degrees, uh, you know, finance degrees, uh, and such. A lot of them who have looked up to me have actually surpassed me in salary, which is kind of depressing, to be honest. I would really not admit it to them, but I'm being honest here. So uh, that's that's really that's really been a disappointment for me. Uh, so take that into account. From there, it's led me to that, then to this, then to that, and now it's turned me into a bit of a loner because I really don't want to admit it, but having a lot of them surpass me in salary, surpass me in I want to say achievements, but just salary wise, it's been a bit of a disappointment for me and a source of embarrassment for me actually because a lot of them have held me to such a high standard that it's embarrassing for me and it's hard for me to really take, to be honest. Um, now, you know, so growing up and being told all your life that you're the eldest, you are going to be the most successful, and now it hasn't turned out that way yet, so I'll be honest, yeah, it does hurt my feelings a bit, to be honest. And a part of why I'm doing this video is because I want to be honest with myself and I want to share it with not necessarily my family or friends, but I'd like to share it with somebody because I want to let it out. So yeah, from that point on, before that I was filled with confidence. Now it's like my confidence has shrunk gradually up to this point, and it gets me depressed sometimes, really, to be honest. Um, I yeah, so it's kind of been a challenge for me to really handle. Um, you know, it's gotten me to the point where if you've been watching my videos, I've wanted to quit my job and actually just you know learn some coding because it's been my passion, and you know it would honestly pay a better salary, and it's something I would like to do instead of what I currently do right now, which is I work in a clean room and I have to wear this suit and mask all day, and it's physically grueling, and the pay is just not up to par. So, but anyway, so I've even had talks about that with my family, my brothers in general, and my younger brothers have always looked up to me, and sadly, I could sense that they have been disappointed in what I've been telling them because I've been telling them that I've been wanting to quit my job and just move back home, which would be sort of like a failure in some definitions, and I could sense that, and I would have. I told my brother, one of my brothers, I would have hoped that I would have had some support with my family, at least, in my decision to possibly move back home. But it's been a little difficult because, especially when you've been in a tight spot, and you're kind of looking what you're gonna eventually uh, look to for help is your family, really. And my mom has been quite supportive, but my younger brothers honestly have been a little bit disappointed, and it's disappointed me also because I would have wanted them to support me in that, even though it's embarrassing for me because they've always looked up to me as an older brother to be successful, and now even with a low-paying job, they've been hearing that I've been wanting to quit and move back home as a 31-year-old guy. So, uh, yeah, and to be honest, I've been having these, I wouldn't quite say depression, but like, these bouts of deep sadness at how my life has turned out so far. And to be honest, I wouldn't, I wouldn't condone. I mean, I would actually, I, in my personal opinion, it's actually healthy to compare yourself from time to time with other people. But you know, I've found that a big source and a big factor in my sort of sadness and a bit of depression is whenever I would compare my life to other people's lives, especially my you know uh, relatives, cousins who have looked up to me and have surpassed me in success, and also other people's lives in general. Um, because it's kind of hard with just a bio major, and even though it was a really hard thing to achieve and I'm proud of it, the pay wasn't really that great. So um, a lot of this depression, sadness is financially based, to be honest. And yeah, it's hard to see all these people who have looked up to you so much for most of your life finally surpassing you and then kind of like brushing you off in a way. And to be honest, it's not healthy for you to compare yourself to other people's lives. But I'm not gonna sit here and preach and tell you not to compare yourself because I do it all the time, which is why I feel depressed sometimes. So, in a nutshell, yes, I've been a very popular kid in my family circle, my relatives, my immediate circle. I've been a very popular guy in college, but ever since graduating with a low and then getting a low paying job, it's been going downhill from there. And yeah, it's a big source of my bouts of disappointment, really. But I'm still hopeful that I'll be able to turn it around, even at 31, because you know what, in my opinion, my motto is it's not how old you are, it's how you feel. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Um, so yeah, that's it. Late Bloomer, signing out. See you next time.